Hey guys, my name is Dustin Vaughn, and this is my oral case study for Heidi Royson. First, I want to talk about the strengths that Heidi displayed in her own network and also her networking strategies that proved to be successful for her and also to other people as she grew in her career. She began her career as a likable, outgoing personality that people found enjoyable to be around and unafraid to ask questions. We got to see this a lot through her job at Tandem, and as she went to Teammaker, this is where her networking really began, is where she started to display her ability to build relationships with people by entering in on conversation, by joining groups of like-minded individuals where she was unafraid to share her point of view and also listen to other people, which proved to be a successful jumpstart into how she was going to effectively build relationships from then on. As she joined Apple, she had to understand the ability to persuade effectively, and I think she did that very early on because of her personality. I think her personality lended itself to people wanting to be around and listen to her and hear her viewpoint because she also showed that same respect for other people. Then she moved from Apple and went on to be her own mentor capitalist, which is a term that she coined, which I found very interesting. And this is where you saw a turning point of her giving approach that she had developed, now turning from her wanting to basically positively affect her career, and now she was in it to positively affect other people's career and make them successful. So we got to see a humble display of network building, but also too, she had to learn how to be able to manage that giving approach, and we didn't get to see the fullness of that until she entered in with SoftBank venture capitalists. Because first of all, she was around a group of givers, which is also important for the success of a business. But she began to understand how to set up things in place to be an effective giver and not to overgive and overwork herself. And so because of these strengths that she displayed, we can now go back and look at the applications from the concepts that we talked about through the book that we read with Give and Take, all the way through the journal articles and the other supplemental videos that we watched. And so first I want to start with the book Give and Take. I think the book Give and Take was really inspiring, and it was also very informative of how to embrace this giver approach, which Hailey surely did, but she also learned how to manage it wisely and balance the giving. So she set up ways to deter excess giving of her time and energy. She also understood this idea of reciprocity, which in my mind is more of like a quid pro quo mentality. She embraced small favors with big impacts. So this reminded me of Adam Rifkin in the book, where she understood that a small favor that she would give, she understood her network so much that that could provide a big impact with little time and energy coming from her. She had an aspect of powerless communication where she asked the right questions and she also listened more and talked less. She surrounded herself with givers, especially at SoftBank. She got to see the positive impact that that has on a business because of the giving approach being so infectious. And then lastly, she was not afraid to ask for help. Something that I think is so simple and is overlooked so often is the ability to just ask for help or ask for a favor and to not be afraid of overstepping our bounds. In the journal article of Harnessing the Power of Persuasion and the video on the science of persuasion, which I think parallel each other really well, we got to see Heidi be able to employ 4 different principles that were explained in these different supplemental materials that I think she did a really good job of. One was the principle of liking. People liked to be around her. She was an enjoyable person. She was an outgoing personality, which proved to be very positive in her success. Also, the principle of reciprocity, which just reminds me of the golden rule, is do unto others as you would have them do unto you. Very similar, is give according to what you would like to receive. The other is a principle of consistency. Heidi described this principle as a way to build effective networks, which is to be the same person in every interaction. And last is the principle of authority. Don't be afraid to show your expertise, whether it be directly or indirectly. In the journal article of How to Build Your Network, we got to see how to diagnose the framework of your connections. Heidi did a really good job of this, of basically separating those who were well-connected versus those who were just good relationships and good acquaintances. And lastly, in the Deborah Grunfeld video on acting with power, there was a couple of different things that she said that I think Heidi did a really good job of. She prioritized expertise, which spoke to her credibility, which allowed people to want to listen to her. She did not fear pushback. She spoke confidently, and she spoke differently in different environments, which proved to be effective for her. So no matter what, I think Heidi's a good example of learning how to be an effective giver in the face of competitive business.